The current URC season hasn't even finished. You've got the playoffs next weekend, but that doesn't stop us getting hyped up about next season in the competition, because the fixture list has been unveiled and it has unleashed upon us some potentially very memorable moments, which I've picked out some of my favourite kind of moments potentially in the calendar. Some of those weekends that you need to keep completely clear. Don't be booking anything in with the other half. Don't be having a wedding on that day or anything like that. You need to be parked on the sofa watching the telly, or even better, in the stadium watching the games. So I've picked out some of my potential high points. Tell me yours in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. And the season gets underway this year, or next year, sorry, the next season, later this year. You know what I mean. It gets underway the final weekend in September. And what a game to open up. Friday night lights in Cape Town, Greenpoint Stadium, Table Mountain as a backdrop, the ocean on the other side. Brilliant crowd. There'll be great travelling Leinster fans who'll be over there for a holiday. Sasha against Sam. Willemser against Keenan. Josh van der Fleer having a breakdown battle with Evan Ruiz. It's set up perfectly. That is how you get a new season underway. The only issue, though, is that weekend is also the final weekend of the Rugby Championship. South Africa play Argentina the following day. So, assuming he'll be involved, Sasha Feinberg, Ngomazulu, Damian Willemser, maybe others, won't be available, which would be a real shame. An almost perfect way to start the season, but pretty cool. I would also say I think Leinster fans travel particularly well, and it's not hard to get excited about a trip to the Cape. And if I were a Leinster fan, when that fixture list came out, I would have been straight on having a look at potentially booking a holiday, bit of time in the Cape, and then maybe head up north, a couple of days safari before you head to Pretoria for that second match. So lovely little jaunt, that north and south. And yeah, actually, I have to say, Leinster, their opening month is pretty brutal. I mean, I think Leinster will be all right. I think they should have a squad that can manage. But Stormers and Bulls away, Sharks and Munster at home. Is there a tougher opening month than that in the URC? I don't think there is. So Leinster have... they've got to hit the ground running. That's a challenge for them. Actually, I was talking about the Stormers, and I've mentioned the Bulls there. That matchup between the Bulls and the Stormers is always one that I look out for, the North v South rivalry. It goes way back before these franchises, when it was Western Province against Northern Transvaal. And yeah, this means something to people in South Africa. It's a proper derby. And does that mean it's got TBC next to it in round 8? Does that mean they just haven't pinned down the date, but it's going to be around Christmas time? They've got the Sharks on the 20th. The obvious place would be the 27th. And then New Year. Is it going to be a festive doubleheader? Or, and here's probably what I'm thinking will happen, that game that is currently TBC in round 8 will be moved like it was in the season we're currently in, moved to the Six Nations period when there are no games. Because if you look, Bulls play the Lions at the end of January, and then there's no game till the end of February. So filling that gap makes sense. Although I do love the idea of a North v South doubleheader along the lines of what Edinburgh and Glasgow do, or the Italian teams do it as well at the same time, don't they? So we'll wait and see what the actual fixture on that is. But if that was a doubleheader around Christmas time, I might just be heading out on Boxing Day or St Stephen's Day if you're in Ireland. I might be heading out on that day to head down to SA. So we'll see about that. But other ones that caught my attention, the final day of the season, Dragons play Scarlets. I was having a look at, with the stories surrounding the Welsh regions at the minute and the uncertainty there, I was just having a look around at when some of the fixtures were, and this was the eye-catching one. Final day of the season, Dragons v Scarlets. So I don't know whether that's the URC just kind of thinking, well, you never know. Maybe the WRU can't make up their mind if they want to cut a region, and if so, which one they want to cut. So why don't we just help them make up the decision? Let's put two of them together on the final day of the season, and that can be, in fact, it could be like a WWE Money in the Bank match. You have two teams play. Winner gets a contract to stay as a franchise in the URC. The loser loses their contract. Or you could do like because obviously Cardiff are going to stay, whatever happens, if they end up getting rid of a region. But maybe they could have they've got the Welsh Shield with the 4 teams. Maybe they could have just a little money in the bank type situation with the 3 other teams, Scarlets, Ospreys and Dragons. They play each other home and away, and there's a little table going to earn points, maybe over the next 2 seasons, earn enough points to get your place in the URC in 3 years' time. I don't know. If you don't laugh about this really frustrating and difficult and sad situation, then you'll cry. I imagine some fans of these Welsh regions probably feel like doing that at the minute. But there you go. That game, last game of the season, could be fun. I talked about the really tough start that Leinster had, and I looked around for what I think the roughest run-in is. And I think we found it there quite clearly. Benetton, they need to get points on the board early in the season, because Glasgow away, Munster at home, Leinster at home, Sharks away, Bulls away as a last 5 games. That is brutal for Benetton. So, they missed out on the playoffs this year because they couldn't quite make enough of a late charge. They do not want to be needing points going into the last month or so of the season, or they are in big trouble. So keep an eye on that one for Benetton next year. The festive games is also another one I look out for. Already mentioned. Is it going to be? We've got some festive games in South Africa. We've still got a lot of them. Edinburgh, Glasgow, 20th and 27th, straddling Christmas again. Second game, as it tends to be, in Murrayfield, as the big showcase event on the 27th this year. I do love these festive games. You've got the same going on with the Interpros in Ireland. In fact, you've basically got like the whole of December and early January, first game in January, the whole of that winter period is all within Ireland, which is really cool. And do you know what? It's the same in Wales. Looking at Scarlets, there you go, exactly the same situation. And it's the same with Italy. And I think that's really smart scheduling as well, because think about it, the 2 weeks before, there you go, Scarlets play Cardiff, the 2 weeks before that is going to be Champions Cup. So you might have flown to literally the other side of the world. You might have been all over. But you know that after that, potentially tough travelling schedule, you can just come back and you haven't got to travel far. And when all the families come back, all the kids come back from university, schools are out, you can have some moments and get some crowds in. So yeah, I really like that. And on the Champions Cup, now I don't know about you, I just want and I'm willing the South African sides to be able to give it a proper crack. And the travelling schedule that they have to undertake is tougher than anybody else's. And so John Dobson, the head coach at the Stormers, he came up with a suggestion, like, why don't we just do some common sense scheduling? So around the Champions Cup, when we might have to go away, schedule it so there's an away game in Europe so we can double up and bring a proper squad rather than having to travel back and forth and back and forth. Just seems like common sense. So I thought I'd have a look at what's going on there. And there seems to be a bit of that going on. So just the weekend before the Champions Cup, the Sharks are away at Connacht. So hopefully now we just need everyone to link together, and it would be so typical if what happens now is Sharks are in Connacht at the end of December, but round 1 of the Champions Cup the following week, Sharks are in Durban, and then they're away in the Champions Cup the following week, and then they're back in Pretoria. Hopefully, common sense is going to prevail, and they might be away in Connacht, and then whoever's in their pool, say they go to Bath, they can stay in Europe before then heading back for their second Champions Cup game in Durban, and then staying in Durban for that game against the Bulls. That would be common sense. Do you think the powers that be in rugby are actually going to make that happen? We will see. And it's also the case. So should Sharks make it through to the knockout stages, and there's those first 2 weeks in April are the knockout stages of the Champions Cup, and after those knockout stages, Sharks are in Europe, away to Ospreys, away to Edinburgh. So that might be a reason why John Plumtree and the Sharks players look at next season, they look at the Champions Cup and go, let's go for it. let's go for it, because if we get through to the knockout stages, well, of course, there is the argument that they might be at home in the knockout stages of the Champions Cup. But if they are away, let's say they are away for argument's sake in one or more of the games, they can spend 2, maybe 3 weeks north getting those games under their belt before coming back home. So we'll see how that one pans out. I hope that John Dobson's suggestions are being taken into account. And finally, I always look for, some of those derby games. Talked about the Bulls v the Stormers. Munster v Leinster's always a special one. And there is that one middle of October, so fairly early in the season. Just a nice little moment of interest. That one in Munster. I love the fact there's a plane symbol, by the way, for away matches. Because, and in most cases that works. But I love the thought of, like, Cardiff flying to Newport to play the Dragons. Maybe it should be a helicopter symbol. They'll chopper them in. Maybe abseil out of the chopper straight onto the pitch in their kit. That'd be a way to go. But then, of course, the 27th of December, the post-Christmas game, that's another definite moment to watch out for. But there you go. Playoffs haven't even started, and I'm starting to get hyped about next year. Let me know if you are too, and what you're looking forward to. And on those scheduling issues with the Champions Cup, how you think it's going to work. And thank you for watching. Hit subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.